As sports fans, we love to debate about subjective things, but there is something special about the statistical monuments that players can build for themselves, as records really can't be argued. Unless you're talking about how long they will last, here are 5 unbreakable NBA playoff records coming up right after this. Number 5. Fewest wins for a team that has reached the NBA Finals. A league with a long history spread across different eras can produce some interesting statistical anomalies, and the playoffs are usually configured for the best teams to make the finals. That didn't happen in 1959, and the Minneapolis Lakers finished the regular season with only 33 wins, yet the squad still made it to the big dance. Now, some things were really different back then, as the NBA had only 8 teams and 6 of them made the playoffs. I think somehow the current Sacramento Kings would still miss them under those rules. Also back then, the first round was best of 3, and the Lakers ousted the Pistons and then the St. Louis Hawks before getting swept by the Celtics, the first of 8 straight championships for them. The last time a team with a losing record made the finals was 1981, when the 40-42 Rockets also lost to the Celtics. The reason this record is unbreakable is that there are 16 teams getting into the playoffs now. When a team with a losing record does make it into the playoffs, which has happened 6 times since 2000, they lose in the first round, every single time. Number 4, most playoff wins, coach Phil Jackson. Winning in the playoffs are a funny thing. That is until you call Phil Jackson to install the triangle with the greatest players on earth. Phil Jackson's win total in the playoffs is not only absurd, but it is so far ahead of second place it's likely never to be touched again. In just a 20-year coaching career with 2 teams, Phil Jackson amassed 229 playoff victories against only 104 losses, won 13 conference titles, and of course won 11 championships. Pat Riley, who is second on the list, needed 24 years to win 171 playoff games. And the highest active coach is Greg Popovich, who has 167 wins in 22 years, a full 62 behind. He would need to win 3 straight NBA championships and make a finals run in the next 4 years just to tie the Zen Master. And with Kawhi running away from his team as if the franchise is on fire, that's not happening. The only coach I see with a realistic chance of taking on Phil is one of his former players and disciples, Steve Kerr, who has 55 playoff wins in only 4 seasons. Only 212 to go, Stevie. Number 3, most career playoff points, LeBron James. Argue all you want about who the greatest player of all time is, but one thing is undeniable. Nobody has and probably never will ever score more points in the playoffs than LeBron James, who has amassed 6,540 of them over his 15-year career and still counting. Second place is of course his airness with 5,987. The key factors to why this record can't be broken are as follows. LeBron has played in 228 playoff games and logged over 9,582 minutes, as he has only missed the playoffs twice in his career. And he has a lot of basketball left in him. As long as he matches up with Toronto each year, he will continue to make deep playoff runs. The highest active players on the list are Tony Parker with 4,045 points and D Wade with 3,954, and yeah, neither of them look like they're gonna rack up 2,000 more playoff points. Oh, and like I said, LeBron is still active, and since his supporting cast looks like vagrants at a bus station, he'll continue to drop playoff buckets like a weak construction worker. Number 2, most overtimes for a playoff game. Once again, I love the fact that the longer the history of the league, the more oddities can occur. And in 1953, in the Eastern Division semifinals, the Syracuse Nationals played the Boston Celtics in an epic 4 overtime game we may never see the likes of again. With Boston leading the series 1-0 in an elimination game, the Nationals, led by Red Roca, battled the Bob Cousy-led Celtics in an intense affair which saw Coos drop 50 points, and after 4 OTs finally defeated the Nationals by a score of 111 to 105. Now, triple overtime games happen pretty often. However, in the postseason, it's only happened 6 times, most recently in 2013 when the Bulls beat the Nets in triple OT in the first round. NBA overtimes are designed to get people home quickly, but another 4 OT game in the playoffs is pretty rare. However, there has never been a 5 OT game in the history of the NBA. And you know how the NBA works. Refs don't get paid overtime. Number 1, most rebounds in a playoff game, Wilt Chamberlain. Rebounds can make a huge difference in a game, and there may never be two greater forces under the basket than Bill Russell and Wilt Chamberlain, who used their superior size and athleticism to grab more boards in their careers than the deck of a brand new cruise ship. And nobody was better at it in one game than Wilt, who on April 5th, 1967 grabbed 41 rebounds in an Eastern Division Finals game versus Bill Russell's Celtics. I brought up Bill Russell because in his career he had three 40-rebound playoff games occurring in 1958, 1960, and 1962 respectively. And that is the only person who would ever have a chance at breaking the Stilts record, as only 28 30-rebound games have happened since 1973, none of them happening in the playoffs, with the most recent being this year when Dwight Howard mopped up 30 on March 21st. Good for you, Dwight. And yes, this is just another impressive record to add to Wilt's trophy cabinet of historical milestones. Did you like my list? Do you think I left any off? Of course I left a bunch off. Leave your comments below and like and subscribe and hit the notification bell if you do. And also don't forget I do a weekly stream with Urinating Tree you might want to check out as well. I'm 5 Points Vids and you made it to the end of this video.